Crystal, April, welcome to the Big Fat Podcast.
Hey.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. It's going to be fun to see where it goes.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm excited because I got a glimpse at both of your places over there. Okay. Crystal, the name of your studio.
Lift Your Light.
Lift Your Light.
Mm-hmm.
And then the name of the gym.
Stillwater Athletic Co-Op.
Okay. How did that all come to be over there? I was walking through there the other day for the first time, and I was like, holy cow. This place is like, there's a lot more in here than I thought. I hadn't been in there, and I felt bad that I hadn't been in there. So I guess, how did that come to be, and were you guys friends before you ended up in the same building there, or did you guys come to know each other after? How did that happen? How did we have a yoga studio and a nice gym over there in this town that I didn't really realize was that in depth?
It's a beautiful place. It's to come, and anybody can come visit it. So if anybody watching this is ever interested, get a hold of us and we'll give you a walkthrough.
Yeah, it was very, laid back and welcoming over there. Yeah. But how did that all come together? How did you get into that building?
So the gym originally started on Main Street with Lynn Robinson and I think Chris Stroman are the ones that originally started the gym that we ended up going to. And then it kind of it grew, and so they moved to bigger and bigger buildings. And eventually Lynn started CrossFit, and we had a CrossFit gym on Main Street, kind of over there by the flower shop on Pike. And then it got to the point to where she had fulfilled that dream. That's what she wanted to do. She went a different direction in life, and we all still wanted to work out. And we've met each other way before that. We've been friends our families have been friends for I don't know how long now.
But that didn't start till I started going to the gym. That's really where we got to know each other. You and I.
Right.
Our relationship started, Cole and I were friends prior to all this coming together. So because now we're just you get to choose friends that are family. And that's where we had met. I started the gym in 2016.
And that's where you guys met for the first time?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started the gym, and we were actually just talking about this the other day. This month is my 10 years in the gym.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
April of 2013 was when I did my first workout with Lynn. And then the Friday was my 10-year mark that I've been doing a CrossFit style workout.
So who owns that gym?
It's a co-op. There's 19 of us.
18.
18 or 19 of us. So when Lynn sold all of her stuff, decided she wanted to get out of the gym, we wanted a place to work out. We needed that gym. And so we all got together as a core group of us that have been in that gym since the 2014 to 2016 timeframe, made a proposal to Lynn to buy the gym as a co-op. And so we all...
So members owning it type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we went in, I think it was $1,000 or $500 a person.
$500 a person.
Yeah, and we bought the gym. And then one of the individuals that owned the gym, Tanya House, she was able to get us a building originally that was out of town, and then we ended up having to move out of that one for business reasons as far as zoning, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she was going to build a building anyway, and she offered to build the one that we're in now, and so we rent that building from her, and then she split it into 2 rooms, and that's where Crystal's yoga studio came into play.
So
we moved. That was our 3rd building. By the time it all shook out, it was definitely shaky. The first 2 years probably were.
Yeah, because you were in a couple of different places that you were just at the church, I thought, for a while.
Yeah, my yoga studio, but this is just the gym. I only connected with the gym when we built this building, this new building we're in. I haven't always been connected. I haven't always had a yoga studio. When she built that building, she offered to put on... She was going to anyway. She says, I'm going to put on some extra footage. Just makes sense to fill up that space. If I did that, would you like to utilize it as a yoga studio? Or I'm just going to make office spaces out of it. And I was like, hell yeah. I'm going for it, man. I didn't know what it was going to look like or what I was doing, but kind of the same thing with the gym. Like, we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew that we needed to do the next right thing, and none of us wanted to not have a place to work out or to spend time together, because that's, I mean, we see each other, some of us see each other 5 days a week there. So then she built the extra footage on the gym, and I put a couple offices in there, and that's how that all got connected.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot about. We moved. You're right. We moved from Main Street over to the Apple Village complex.
Oh yes.
And then we moved out of town, and then we are in our current building. And hopefully we're not having to move for a while.
We're not moving.
No.
It was a shit show.
Oh yeah.
Chris was like, I'm not doing it.
No.
That's a lot of equipment in there. How did you guys buy all that equipment?
So
I know there was equipment at Lynn's gym. Okay, but that looks like that's more equipment than what was at Lynn's gym.
It is.
Do you guys all just chip in on it, or?
So you have that monthly. So the charter members that own the gym, we have to pay our monthly dues no matter what.
Okay.
If you work out 1 time a month, if you work out 4 times a day, we're paying ours every month. That's kind of part of being an owner. And then all the other memberships, we go into different accounts that we have. We have an equipment account. We have our bills. We have our emergency fund, kind of, how you're going to run a business.
Yeah.
And then we get input from members, charter members, regular members, and see what kind of equipment we want. And then we make a goal. This is what we want. We put the money away till we get it and we buy it.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's such a great idea, concept of that. That's really great.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I looked around and I was like, holy cow, there is a lot of options and a lot of equipment in here. This isn't just thrown together, and looked really good.
And it's amazing how it's evolved. Even I haven't been involved as long as Cole has. Like, started out as just a desire on a few people's hearts to have a place to work out, opened it up to the public. I mean, when Lynn initially started, it was donation. She built a business, and just because you built a business doesn't mean that you have to hold it forever. She picked it up and put it down. She was ready to go on, and then we picked it up, and our hearts were all in the right place, and we all had a common goal, and we've got to this place where we continue. The gym will just continue to expand. Like, all of us are invested in making it just a better place all the time.
Yeah. So then, is that when you got into CrossFit? Because are you a certified like CrossFit instructor?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't renew this last time through.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first workout I did was a CrossFit workout when I went down to the gym. Actually, it was a 30-day burpee challenge. And I don't know who it was, I can't remember, that said, hey, you need to come down and do this challenge. And so I went to the gym, I met Lynn. She explained to me I didn't even know what a damn burpee was. So she told me what a burpee was. And here I was like 290 pounds. I was a chubby dude, just what happens when you get older, I guess. I quit, after the military and the college, going to the mine for a little bit.
It's
Then
easy
being
to get
you just
so caught up in life.
Right.
Yeah.
You caught up being new parents, I guess not new, but parents. I was just this chubby dude. And Lynn introduced me to this thing called CrossFit. I did this 30-day CrossFit challenge. She put my name in a hat because I finished the 30 days. My name was drawn. I got like a 2-month membership out of it, and like I said, I finished 10 years of it Friday.
Wow. How did you get certified for CrossFit? Did you have to go someplace?
I went to a CrossFit gym in Denver.
Okay.
That they hold certification schools all over the U.S., and you have to go. That's a 2 or 3 day instructor course, and then you have to take a test and pass the test with, I think, like an 80% or something like that to become certified.
So completely none of our business, but why did you let it go? Why aren't you still certified? What happened?
We're not a CrossFit gym anymore.
I see.
We're not affiliated with CrossFit.
I see.
Super expensive, and I think our hearts were more geared towards sense of community, giving us that place of working out. And sometimes there is a stigma with CrossFit, out there. I don't know why. I mean, once somebody gets involved in it, it's an amazing community, but we just felt like we're not just a CrossFit gym. We're an athletic co-op. We have guys that come in that just power lift. We've got ladies that come in and just do body weight functional fitness. We've got, you got your gym bros that are in there using the mirrors, curls for girls kind of thing. I mean, so we're just not a CrossFit gym. And I think when we all sat down as a group, we just didn't want to continue on that path. We just
kind of that messaging and branding.
Right.
Because I don't know much about it. I was actually talking with April about it though on the way to town today, and I thought, isn't there like controversy sometimes around CrossFit? Like, don't people sometimes attack it as far as being like too extreme or too hardcore or things like that? Is that what the controversy is about it?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, they've made a sport out of fitness.
Okay,
is what CrossFit has done, and so then that's the thing that gets all the attention. Would be like the CrossFit Games, all these competitions, and so these are athletes that spend 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym. They hire nutritionists, they hire cardio coaches, they hire lifting coaches, they hire Olympic coaches. I mean,
it's their life.
It's their life.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. That's the one that gets all the limelight. But what people don't see is the everyday CrossFit gym in every major town in the United States and every small town. That is just this huge sense of community, where not only do you end up going there to work out for an hour and a half, but you end up helping each other solve problems, work through life. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing community. And I think when Lynn decided to sell the gym, we all knew there was that need to have that in our community. And so we all bit the bullet and had this common goal that we're going to keep it going. And we just got rid of the CrossFit affiliation. And
we also got rid of trainers. So we have classes, but they're not like, they're a common agreement among the people who have been working out for a long time to come at the same time. So like there's a group that comes at 5:30. There's a group that comes at noon. And
but when you say it's a common agreement, that means it's not like this is on the schedule as a class, this is an instructor. These are just people who come together at that time to work out together.
Right. And so, and I believe, like, unbeknownst to us at the time when we were like, we don't need trainers, we also wanted to develop the idea of just community and camaraderie and helping each other as equals versus having a trainer who yells at you when your form's not right and tells you how much weight you're supposed to put on your bars, that we all just work on it together and help hold each other accountable in doing our best when we're there.
I like that because
I think I like that better because I feel like you're going to be more accountable to your peers than you are to, you know what I'm saying, somebody over that. So that's great.
Yeah, no, I like that. Because I know years ago, my daughter, she started to come work out over there, and she was super nervous about going over there, and but she went over there and she just come back just whooped, but she just felt really good about it though. Very quickly, she felt very comfortable, and she needed that. Like she kind of needed that togetherness and all of that. It was a good, positive experience for her. But yeah, she was just like, wow, they are intense. They are into this. But everybody's like super supportive of each other, and it's not as intimidating once I've gotten in there and whatever. So I think at that time, I want to say I had a membership at the place with Lynn. And because of my weird odd hours, I was coming in there in like the middle of the night before work there for a little bit, and then I don't know what happened.
I did
Life
kickboxing
happened.
with Lynn when it was on Pike.
Yeah,
I did kickboxing class with her when it was on Pike.
It's fun to reflect on it because
that was a long time ago.
Not like that. Like, I hope that Lynn watches this for her to hear how she's made a ripple effect on the community. And like a lot of people have been in and out of the gym.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are in and out of the gym. And you definitely have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, like be willing to be vulnerable to go, because you're definitely out of your comfort zone. But like we've shared the happiest moments together. We've cried together, like we've screamed at each other. You get it all, and you get the rawest and the best and the worst of each person, which creates this relationship that, like, you've seen me be a shit show and we're still here together, right? And so there's just there's that deep sense of community, but you have to be willing first. And so that's, I think a lot of times it deters people. And I know, like with our noon group, it's like we're labeled as an intense group, and we're all like, we're just there to do our best individually. Like I feel like there's a range of us and we are intense what we do, but we are all on different levels. And you just try, go and try.
Yeah.
And you don't have to keep up with anybody or do anything that the next person's doing. Like, some days I'll go there and I'll keep up with the boys, and other days Cole will say, Crystal, what was your time? And I'll say, had a great time. I was here.
Because some days that's the best.
I showed up. I sweat. That's it.
Yeah. And for me, I like the competition aspect of it. I like, my brother works out at the same time. And so there's always that brotherly competition, and he's got his strengths. I've got my strengths. But it's just that, I don't know, there's always that drive, like, well, I'm gonna push just that much harder to get that one more rep just so I can rub it in his face that I beat him. Or I'm gonna put on another 2.5 pounds just to say that I've lifted more than him, which is that competition with my brother.
That's not you and your brother, that's you and Kelly, my husband.
That too.
Who lifts the most because they're two big dudes doing insane amounts of weight. Like, oh, I'll be over here in my corner doing yoga.
Yeah. And so I met Crystal first and then introduced her to my wife, and then her husband Kelly started coming about a year after you. Two, was it 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years after, and then that's when I met Kelly. And I mean, other than I've got my best friend that lives in Alabama. I got my brother and my sister, and then probably Kelly. I mean, he's become that next person in your life. That's a tremendous friend. And if it wasn't for the gym, I don't know if our paths would have ever crossed. I mean, we didn't really have a whole lot in common until the gym, and then. I mean, now we go to concerts, we camping. I mean, all of our kids hang out together all the time, the softball season together. I mean, so it's kind of interesting to see how life works when you're like, just this common thing of I'm going to try to make myself better, make my body better, and now here we are.
Wow. That's awesome. How does somebody become a member or join over there?
Really, really simple. Show up. Well, we do a lot of Facebook stuff, so a lot of people message us on Facebook. They meet with one of the charter members, or even for that matter a regular member. We just set up a time and they go through the gym. We kind of show them around and be like, hey, if there's a couple of days you want to come down and just work out, come down. It's not going to cost you anything. Just try it out for a couple of days, and then if they want to join, they sign a few waivers, that kind of thing, rules, that kind of thing, and then pay their membership, and they get unlimited access to the gym.
There's a number on the door of the gym, and then there's a number on my door for me, and it is on 24-hour access. So just because there's classes, it's you just get a code, and you can go in any point in time and work out. You don't have to work out during a certain hour or with a certain group or anybody there. We try to make it as simple as possible and as personal as possible, like relationship based. People don't care what you say or what you do. They care about how you make them feel.
Very true.
That is very true.
That was profound.
Well, we just had that conversation.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah. We had that. That was like, I know where she's going with this.
Nice.
Yeah, we had that talk because we were talking about, I was talking about a coffee shop that I would go into, and I feel bad. It's a nice coffee shop. I always want to give unsolicited, advice, or not, like, who am I to give advice? But so I realized that too. But I guess that's what keeps me from going and talking to somebody. But I want to go into this place and be like, hey, like, you guys got to have some music in here, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to create, your atmosphere or vibe, like, have some music. If it's going to be jamming or it's going to be chill coffee house music, but this place is quiet every time I come in here. Everybody kind of is quiet that is working here, and I know it's not everybody's personality to be like, hey, good morning, but like, you got, these people got to provide an experience. It's like, right. It's how you come in here and how you feel. Like, I feel kind of weird that it's so quiet and everybody's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost an uncomfortable feeling for me. I don't know if it is for anybody else, but I'm like, oh, okay. It's like it's like a library. Like, if this is a coffee shop in the morning, I feel like I got to be quiet when I'm talking back to them. I don't know. That was my thing. We were talking about how most of the time it's when you're running a business, it's not just the product that you are providing, but it's the experience, and it's how you it's how you make your people feel. It's how you make you're trying to have a positive emotional experience for people every single time they come to your place. Anyway, so and that sounds like what you guys have there. It's like, hey, it's a camaraderie.
Yeah, the gym and the yoga studio, we really want people, if they have a little inkling to do something healthy for themselves, to support that, encourage that, and don't feel like a fish out of water. We'll help you.
So how does that work then with the yoga studio, as far as explain, like how does somebody start to come there and be a part of what you guys do there?
So the yoga studio and the gym are separate. So if you're a member of the gym, it doesn't mean that you get to come do yoga.
Right, that's a separate deal.
Yeah, that's a separate deal. So at the yoga studio, I do have classes that are I teach, or Lynn sometimes subs for me. It's Monday nights at 5:30 p.m. and Friday mornings at 5:30 a.m. But I'll put this disclaimer out there. In the summer, people are doing other things. The classes are so light. I just take a break. And I'm doing other things. My kids are busy, baseball, softball. So I will probably be stopping the regularly scheduled classes here soon. And you just pop in. You don't have to. There's always room for everybody. The more the merrier. And pay your $10 and come do yoga.
No, that's simple enough.
Simple.
Easy peasy.
That's simple. Yoga's not simple, because I've tried yoga.
Yeah, it's very hard.
And it was about 2.5 minutes in, I was like, ow.
So exciting. An exciting thing happened 2 weeks ago. Cole put me on the board. Cole does all our programming. So he's like the way our human behavior to watch us. We just do what's written on the board. We've all done it for so long. We really don't
deviate or mix things.
No, do not mix it up. So he put it on the board that we would do yoga before workout. So the last 2 weeks, on Thursdays before we work out, I have been teaching. Last week was 8 minutes, and the week before was 15 minutes. And everybody was pleased.
Really? Wow.
It's not easy. I can lift a shit ton of weight, but I can't freaking bend over and touch my toes.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Have you been doing yoga on a regular basis, or have you just dabbled, dipped?
Just dabbled. Just two.
Oh, man. Wow. It is tough.
It is, and there's.
It's like you're using your own body. You're not having to use other things. You use your own body against itself. Well, with itself.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. Everybody makes it look all peaceful.
And
and there's some music playing over there.
And some mental stuff going on.
But it's just here. I'm gonna just do this
and hold it
and be uncomfortable and see how long I can be uncomfortable.
I tell people there's no wrong way to do yoga. The only wrong way to do yoga is to not do yoga. And people who teach yoga, like the people that you're referring to that you see, are meant to do yoga.
They have the bodies for yoga.
I'm not meant to be a CrossFit trainer. I thought that maybe that's what I was meant to do when I had been in it for a couple of years, and some of the people around me were getting certified. I thought, well, maybe that's what my calling is. And then it just never aligned. And then finally one day it dawned on me, go become a yoga instructor. And so I'm meant to do yoga. I am not meant to lift my body weight over my head. No point in my life. It hurts. It's ugly. It's painful. Just like you're speaking of yoga.
It is. I don't know. We just kind of talked about it as a group one day. We're like, hey, let's put this in a little bit. And actually, I didn't really even ask Crystal. I just put it up on the board. I figured we would just, do upward dog, downward dog, couple of warrior poses and get to working out. But no, Crystal decided that I'll instruct it. And so now we're 12 minutes of... it's and the last 2 Thursdays I've enjoyed it, as much as, and I mean I banter with her about yoga all the time, but I totally see the necessity in it. And it's enjoyable.
Dude, I say go full bore, throw some System of a Down on.
Okay, we do play hard music when we're doing yoga. I'm not playing the.
I like that kind of music though. I'm not like all like. humming and drumming all the time. I'm like, play the System of a Down. Let's do a System of a Down. I like it.
You hear Crystal talking about breathe in, breathe out, as you're, touching the ground, and then you've got Ashes Tanu playing in the back. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. So
yeah. To me, I don't know. I think the yoga would be almost more intimidating than going and joining at the gym next door. But
that's the beauty of like people and in their friendships. Like you ask yourself, what do you want in a relationship? And I think about this, especially as I'm getting older, and just being more intentional about who I share my energy with. And I want people around me who are going to inspire me, but not just in things I like. I want them to push me out of my comfort zone and inspire me to do things that I wouldn't do. Like one day Cole was talking about cold plunging, so I went and filled my bathtub up and did a cold plunge, which I had done before, but I'm like, I can do this at home. He's doing it. You do a different thing, but I was like, I can do that at home, or like at the gym, or
that is some hard inspiration, because I just
that cold water, I'm scared of it right now. I'll tell you,
it's so fantastic.
It's the greatest thing. Cold plunge now has changed my life.
It's fantastic.
So, full disclosure, we now have 2 sessions of cryotherapy under our belts.
I love it.
So since we've talked, we have gone and actually. Yeah.
I thought I would hate it, and I love it.
But to me, that is way less scary than doing cold water. Cold water for some reason. Like, I don't know why.
I walked into a negative 160 with just a towel wrapped around me. I had some slippers, the extremities. 2 fans going, and I was in there for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And I could get down, and I could touch my palms to the bottom of the floor.
Yeah.
Stand straight up. I thought I would hate being cold like that, and I did not.
So you want to hear a little science with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So it really resets your nervous system, and helps as much as it sounds like it would make you just
a nervous wreck.
Yes. If you can get through the initial, it really resets your nervous system and will put you back into a state of homeostasis. Because I'm sure after you did the cryotherapy, you noticed a serotonin drop, a dopamine drop. Like all your feel-good hormones just like, oh, I'm so relaxed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You totally feel that. You feel energized. I felt just good and awake and alert and... Yeah.
No.
And I didn't hurt as bad for a while.
Right. And there's a component there, and I'm not going to go deep into your vagus nerve. So it's not just like, it's scientific. It's real. It's good for your nervous system. It reestablishes your baseline. Because our nervous system in our culture ping pongs between hyper-aroused, like Tigger mode, to hypo-aroused Eeyore mode. And we have to be intentional about being in that window of tolerance, which is where our Pooh Bear sits. Our Pooh that's just like, oh yeah. And so we have to be intentional about that. And our body holds a lot of what our nervous system and the energy of our nervous system through our day-to-day is looking like. Just like you said, 20 minutes in the sun. That's going to establish your nervous system baseline for the day. And your nervous system really is so vital to how you function.
Oh yeah, mine's totally out of whack. I gotta get it weighing. Yeah.
Well, I can help you, girl. I know lots of things.
There's a lot of things about us that is out of whack and has been for a long time. How often do you cold plunge then?
Every day.
Oh man.
First thing in the morning. So not only for me is it a reset, okay, because I work night shift, and so my serotonin, my dopamine, all of that is completely messed up because I'm doing the exact opposite of what the human body is meant to do. Okay, I'm up. So, you guys are the same way you're changing, but for the last however many years, you've been the same way. But so when I'm supposed to be sleeping, I'm awake. When my mind is supposed to be shut off, it's going 100 miles an hour. And then on top of that, I'm going from extreme highs to extreme lows multiple times in a shift. So my body's completely fucked, for lack of a better word.
No, yeah, I totally
and so trying to do these things that kind of bring me back to that homeostasis. And once I started reading, and of course it's a Joe Rogan episode that I even heard about cold plunging. So I started looking into it, and I'm like, I'm going to try it. And so and the first week was miserable. I could barely do a minute. And it was just painful.
And are you like full on ice in there? And
so
everything?
It's either ice in the cold plunge, or it's the showers like at 30 degrees. I mean, it's as cold as it can get. But the first week, it was a minute, and it was painful. But then after that first week, I was like, I just beat something first thing in the morning every day. I conquered it. I mean, that was a change in a mindset right there, that I came up across adversity, and I beat it within 20 minutes of waking up, starting my day that way.
And you started with showers, and I think showers are way harder. Like, you go sit in a bathtub, just put yourself in there, and you don't move, and then it feels, but when you move around in the shower, it's like pins and needles for a little bit.
Yeah, because your body creates this real thin film around you that heats that water. And if you don't move, that water right next to your skin will be warmer than the rest of the water around you. Whereas that shower, you never get that.
Yeah.
So I started doing the shower, and now I can do up to 5 minutes of that water. And I'll just do a minute in the front, minute in the back, minute in the side, and then I'll do 30 seconds on each and get out. But I can do up to 5 minutes. The plunge, about 3.5. But I try to move around, so I'm not getting that water.
So do you have an ice plunge at your house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So stock tank. I go cheap.
I think people have done freezers.
Yeah.
Like the chest freezers.
A lot of people do Yeti coolers.
Wow.
What?
They get the big
Who
Yeti.
fits in a Yeti? This ass ain't fitting in a Yeti. These hips ain't made
I've
for
seen
that.
it. I've seen it. They use the big Yeti coolers and crawl in those. But
oh my gosh.
it's it's an enjoyable feel. I mean, I enjoy it now. And now the new tanks, I think Joe Rogan, Cam Haines just got these brand new tanks that are actually, the water's moving the entire time. So it never gets a chance to get warm at all from your body heat.
It's got some circulation.
But I say give it a shot. I mean, even if it's 30 seconds in the morning under the shower, wake up, get in, turn that water on, don't get on your phone, don't do anything, just 30 seconds, get on there and see what it does for a week.
Taking his cold showers every day. He was on a kick.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Taking cold showers every day.
Good.
Yeah.
But it just, that dopamine dump after that first thing in the morning, I mean, it's just your whole outlook on the day seems different. You're like, stuff that used to piss me off, just little things because I'm cranky and tired when I wake up and trying to get going after working all night. I'm like, now for the last month and a half, it's just like, no big deal. So
I know I'm gonna get there. Yeah. I've been kind of the cold water thing. I don't know why, but the cryo was. I don't know why that was just. It's just not as bad. But I mean, it's cold.
It's cold.
I mean, it's cold, but
I love it.
I think that the cold water thing's
it's easier for me to do than the heat, which I've always been like, I want to do sauna and that, but I have found that I want that over the sauna.
So I hot. So I'll sit in my hot tub, go sit in the cold bathtub, go sit back in the hot tub. And you can do it more than once. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly do it just when my nervous system is so hijacked by adrenaline and the ickies that I need a complete reset. Otherwise, I don't really have a practice of it.
Well, I keep telling April, let's take some ice home and
fill up the tub.
Let's do it.
Get in the sauna.
Just go get in the river right now.
That's what I told it. I was like, but there's no places that would be like good and deep enough where you could just get in and
you just get in and sit down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go over to Holmgren's. There's a nice little bank.
I grew up going to Lake Mead and down in southern Nevada, and Lake Mead was like, the top foot of that water was like 80-some degrees. We looked up the average temperature the other day of Lake Mead. I was telling April about this. I'm like, I did not grow up in cold water. Like,
I grew up
in very, very warm water. And like moving up here, like watching the kids jump into some icy lake or some icy cold river, like that is not my thing. I'm like, I need that water at like 82,
82. Well, it is such a mindset thing, and you definitely have to be mentally ready. I know I started because I went to Yellowstone Hot Springs, and they have a cold pool, but it's like 62, 63 degrees, and I've sat in there 15 minutes, and it is so amazing how your mind can trick you into thinking your body is unsafe. Like, nothing about this is unsafe. If you are going to die, stand up and get out. Like, but your mind wants to tell you, like, especially when you get that, you know, that startle in your nervous system, your mind wants to say, this is unsafe. How often do we actually do that on a subconscious level because we're uncomfortable, actually? We're not unsafe, we're uncomfortable. And those are two very different things.
Yeah, very true. I don't know. I was listening to David Goggins' book.
Yeah.
Have you listened to his book?
Not yet, no.
Because he's through pushing himself through ultra marathons and everything else he's done in life. He's like, when you come up against that wall and you think that you can't take anymore, that your body can actually, you have another 60%. You're not even halfway.
Really?
And he goes on and explains, he's running on broken legs and doing marathons and just all of the things that he's been through. But he's saying that over time he's figured this out, that when his body or when his mind is telling him he's done, no, he has another 60%, and he's run many, many, many of those ultra marathons now, and he's with Cam Hanes doing those types of things and all the things that they do, and they've learned how to just control their mind and push themselves past where they thought limitations were, and to just go much farther. And you're right, because they talk about this, that once you figure out, like, you're in control of your mind, you're in control of everything about your day. If you can, you can push past something very difficult first thing in the morning, what is it later on that is going to even compare with that? So you can overcome all kinds of things. It is inspiring stuff. I mean, I got to do the cold water thing. I know, just because now I'm a wuss and I'm like, okay, I've thrown it out there that I don't like this, so now I feel like I have to just do it. We actually have a freezer. I just need to move it. It's heavy, but we have a freezer down in the basement, and it's actually a branded freezer, like it's a big Blue Bunny freezer, and it has like the rounded glass lid.
So you're thinking about plugging that in and using that.
It hasn't worked for years.
Throwing some water in there.
But we were thinking about just like sliding that lid open and putting some big old ice blocks in there. And I think because of the motor or something, it has kind of a natural seat in it. So where the motor is in there to run the freezer, so the bottom isn't completely flat. It goes and it has a little step up. And so it creates this little seat. But yeah, I think we're going to, at some point, we've been talking about moving the Blue Bunny freezer someplace better than in the laundry room. And making that our cold plunge. We do have a sauna, and I sat in that this morning right before we came down here. I've been really trying to do longer amounts of time in there, and I do find I just feel better coming out of that sauna. But to be able to go back and forth with the cold and the hot, I want to try that out too. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and us changing our schedule, the nighttime schedule has been terrible. I mean,
it's over the years, it's had a lot of negative effects for me personally. Hormones, my hormones regulate, just a lot of things. I think is really done. Do you choose to do nights? I mean,
yes and no. I mean, at this point in my career, yeah, I'm so used to it now, and it's been the biggest reason why is because we opted to put our children in daycare as the least amount as possible. Well, the only way to do that was for Shasta, my wife, to work during the day and be home at night, and then vice versa. I'm at home during the day, and then I work at night, and so we didn't have to have daycare raise our kids.
Yeah.
And so that was probably the biggest reason why I stayed on nights. But originally it was out of necessity. We didn't have enough people working at the sheriff's office to be able to kind of rotate through schedules. So I stayed on nights, and I mean, I think I've worked day shift a total of a year and a half out of the 15.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been on nights, and it's not a full night. I mean, luckily I'm off at 3 a.m. So I'm still going to sleep when it's dark. I'm waking up when it's light. So I mean, at least I've got that a little bit of circadian rhythm, a little bit. But still it takes a toll on you. But yeah, now it's a choice.
Yeah.
And I'll probably continue to for at least the next 5 years. I think I still enjoy the night. I still enjoy that schedule. Having my day to do things, go to work at night, and then luckily for me, most nights I can shut it off right away, and I'm asleep by 4 a.m.
So how much sleep are you then getting through the day?
Not enough.
Not enough.
No, I'm up between 8:30 and 9, so I get 5.5, 6 hours, and then I'm up until I go to bed that next day.
Yeah.
So you get up and then you do the cold plunge right when you get up.
Yep, right when I wake up.
Oof.
It's that mindset. And because if I don't, I'll put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off, and then by it's 4:30 and I got to get ready for work. I'm like, shit, I didn't cold plunge, and then I won't do it.
Yeah.
So.
You always do the hardest thing first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
When you get up, do the hardest thing.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
And that's what they say, like making your bed, like having your kids make your bed. Like, the kids are like, well, why? We just sleep in it and make it messy. But it's like you're accomplishing a task first thing in the morning.
I make my bed every single morning.
Yeah. So you're accomplishing something right off the bat in the morning before you start your day. So it's kind of
every single
mindset.
Morning.
She says morning, but it's like 11 p.m. It's 11:30.
I make my bed sometime during that day.
We're leaving the house
when I get up.
at
I make that bed.
11:30. Calling that I make it every morning.
Right.
It's 11:30 at night.
And I'm not that guy. I don't make my bed every day.
I do
I'll throw the covers.
every day. Yep, every day I make it.
Yeah.
Very rarely is there a day that I don't.
Yeah, I do too.
She's looking at me. All of a sudden, she makes that statement and looks over at me. And I'm like, hey, I got your back on this. Yeah, I see it.
You make the bed, so why? I don't have to.
Yeah. I'll get in there and I'm like, oh, I got to help. I can't just stand here while you're making the bed. So I get in there and I try to help. But
Right. I don't make the bed every morning or when I get out of bed, but I'll throw the covers back up so it looks
We have a
somewhat made.
huge duvet, and like wrestling this duvet, and this is like a body. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, and I like to take it out because you hear about like Norwegian, and they always take out their bedding and air it out. That's a huge thing about having a good sleep health is they take out all their bedding, even when it's cold out, and air that out. So I'm like sitting here trying to haul this thing outside and drape it. Yeah. To air it out, to get fresh air. I'm all about fresh air.
yeah, very true. Well, that's cool. I'm gonna think about that, about the gym, and I might follow up with you guys on that, and about having a place to go, and like that's the mind frame. Like I go there and work out, and I got to get on a more. I've done it off and on at times, but I've never been able to just stick with it. Like you're saying, man, you've been doing it for years. I'm like, I'm envious of that consistency. And I want that kind of consistency. And I have a lot of, I don't know, it seems like our schedule has made so many things so inconsistent, or it's been hard to be consistent about things.
Consistent with it, yeah.
So now I'm just looking for like anything that'll give me consistency about a schedule or different things. So I'm looking forward to that. I know my dad has been like this winter, they go down to Southern Nevada for the winters, and he's got working out down there. They just got back like a week ago. Yeah. And he was telling me, he's like, I got to find a place to work out and all this stuff. So anyway, that's why I was like asking, like, yeah, how does that all work? Because I think he would enjoy that, coming down there, having that reason to come down. He's turning 82 this year. And
yeah, so it's only $35 for him. Once you get over 65, it's cheap at the gym. Yeah, $35 and you can work out as much as you want.
Wow. Yeah, we'll have to.
And that's another reason that the gym was so important. For me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I'm paying my money to belong to something, and I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of the money that I'm forking out. And so I go to this place every day to work out, whereas if I tried to work out at home, I wouldn't do it. So investing every month into this building, into this equipment, into my health, and having to go somewhere to do it has, I think, been a big part of that consistency. Because if it was at home, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. COVID was miserable.
Oh, miserable.
I hated, like, we were to the point to where we were like, we had a checkout list at the gym, and people could come in and check out equipment and go work out at home. And that lasted for about 2 weeks. And then we're like, we're all going up to the football field. Let's meet at noon and work out. Or let's go meet at 4 o'clock and bring the equipment and work out, because I can't do this at home. Yeah. So.
Not only that, is like, it's a sense of belonging. Like we already talked about, community, camaraderie. I know that if I didn't have it in my planner and I was going to see my friends, that I wouldn't commit either. I wouldn't be with it as long as I have been, because I was a distance runner before this, and then I would work out at home, and I worked out by myself at a gym. But having the relationships I want to see my friends. And it's nice to take a break at noon. I feel better the rest of my day. I move my energy. I'm getting that dip about noon. And it's a great way to spend it's a great way for me to spend my lunch break.
Yeah.
And I love to do it with my husband. That's another piece. Like, my husband and I do it to work out together. And that has been, seeing each other in the middle of the day has been awesome. And having that we're both very athletic, very physical people. And
to be on the same page about that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we both appreciate that time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Come down. Hang out.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do that now. I'm trying to get some normalcy in my schedule. I got my tennis racket restrung. I play some tennis, and I have a ball machine, and I'm trying to get down there more often now. The thing about us doing the schedule that we have been doing, it has been, people always look at it and they don't realize that, like, that's a long day. People are all the time, they're like, hey, what do? You go to work at like 5 in the morning? And I'm like, no, that's when we open. And they're like, okay, so you get in there like 3 or something. Like, no, that's when we start rolling burritos. But I have to cook 300 pounds of food before that. So, that's, they don't really realize that. So it's a 12-hour day, and just the weirdness of the schedule. Gosh, I feel like lately it just seems like it's taking a toll on the weekends. It's harder to recover. Saturdays we're just kind of zombies. And anyway, I feel like I'm kind of like, what's a cop out that I've created for myself, and what is a real challenge here, you know? Mm-hmm. So trying to identify that. And anyway, so we're excited about going over to this new schedule. A little nervous at the same time, but that's a thing for us, is like trying to be healthier about sleep, about some working out, some regular activities, being able to network with people and meet people that we don't really get to do as much because we have such a janky schedule. We're looking forward to that. So yeah, there's a lot about that we're trying to kind of tackle and change some things, because I don't know, it does take a toll. So it's interesting you've been be able to do nights for so long though, and you're not like, I think that's great. I think what's probably helping you do that consistency in the long nights, and that schedule has got to be the working out and that other things that bring balance and bring the healthy part to your life. So that's interesting. Maybe that was been my problem. I should have been working out, doing cold plunges, and we could have kept doing breakfast burritos.
Yes, but I'd like to challenge you a little bit on that. Just because you pick something up once doesn't mean you have to hold it forever, and it doesn't mean that it was ever a loss. Just like how we kind of started this conversation about Lynn starting the gym. She picked it up and then decided, like, she fulfilled where she needed to be, and she passed the baton. Yeah. And as long as we approach things from the understanding that we're constantly learning, then nothing's lost. Yeah. And everybody, I don't care what you're doing, has the availability to evolve and grow over a lifetime, and you're evolving and growing. Maybe you'll go back to it. Maybe you won't. Maybe somebody will come sometime and be like, hey, I loved that so much. I was wondering if I could we talk about making a business deal? You did great for the time that your heart was in it. And now it's not, and you get to move, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's true. We are trying to look at it like, okay, this isn't just an ending. This is a new chapter, or this is, we've learned a lot about some things, and there's some things that we could go back to that. It's, so we are trying to look at it like that of like, okay, what have we learned from that? And now, because what are our other goals, and how can we, with this next chapter, continue? We still have the same goals. We still have the same end goals, but we're just kind of changing about how we're going to go there and achieve that. And along the way, we're just trying to, like I say, trying to make some changes to where we feel healthier mentally, physically, all of these things along the way. Because what we have been doing has kind of hasn't been the most healthiest way of doing it that we've been doing it. So, and it's been causing some challenges. So, and
I firmly believe you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your energy, because nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah, very true. Very true. You do. You have to take care of yourself, and And other people, they're usually, everybody's been really understanding for us about this change for us, and been really good to us. It was kind of a little scary to approach people on it when, people build routines around what you're doing.
Right.
And then to change that up and be like, hey, we encouraged you to do this routine with us early in the morning and everything else, and now we're doing something different. But everybody has been really super understanding. We've had so many people come to us and be like, hey, I did nights for like 6 years, or I did nights for this long, and I get it. Like, it was killing me.
Yeah, they're like, it was like literally I was there. Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it's an exciting opportunity. I mean, for me, I'm super excited because I'm still usually asleep and I don't get a burrito. Like I wanted a chicken fried steak burrito so bad this week, and I'm like, I'm gonna wake up and go get one at 9 o'clock. And then when I woke up and I got going with my day, and I'm like, crap, it's 11. Son of a bitch, I missed my burrito. And now I'm not gonna get one for a long time. So but I'm excited for your guys' next chapter and for going back to the lunch thing, because I remember that's where you started.
Yeah.
I remember when you first opened Big Fat, it was lunches. I remember you came down and did Stillwater Tactical Competition. You were our main food vendor for that, and that was over 10 years ago now.
No, it was.
No, because I was there 1 year.
This June will be 8 years for us. So it was about I think it was our first year. It was 8 years ago.
You had the small trailer too.
It was this trailer.
Was it this trailer?
It was this trailer. Oh. I have photos of that event there.
I thought it was 10 years. So you're 8 years ago.
It's like 8 years. We're coming up on 8 years. Yeah, that we did that, because it was the same trailer, and that trailer is a beast to haul. And we hauled it out there, and it was a great event. Like, it was an eye-opening event. We went and did that, and I was like, I don't even know this existed. And we're out in this beautiful country, and there's all these guys with all this tactical equipment, and doing this big shooting competition, and we were their food. And
I think that was like when I first started.
Yeah.
It was like one of the, a little bit after I first started working.
Yeah. Because you were out there with us. Yeah.
So it's kind of come full circle, and now you're back to the lunches. Dude, I'm super excited for you guys.
I'm excited. It was I had to step out. I had to use the restroom. Do not go on a car trip with me, because seriously, it's every 5 minutes. But so I don't know what I missed, but I'm super excited about the lunches and being able to throw some more creativity spins on some things, and we've really brainstormed some fun things.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's a little scary too, though, because we're doing a system. We got so used to being like, hey, this is our deal. We make all of these, and you come here, and it's very fast, and
nobody waits.
You don't have to wait, and anyway. To go back to lunch now and have people putting in an order, and now we got to pay attention to all those special orders, and we have to, get it out, and we want to put out the best food we can, but we also want to have a real good sense of urgency about it. We don't want people held up. Anyway, so there's things to balance, but there are realities about that. So there's some challenges to that, but we're trying to do what we can to make our system as efficient as possible, so that people aren't like, well, don't go over there because it's a 40-minute wait, or whatever. And that's going to happen. And that's a Friday thing that used to always happen too. I mean, that's going to happen.
I mean, that happens at any restaurant you go to, or anywhere you go, you can wait long periods.
But we've just not been used to that.
But our mentality is that
we got people,
and everybody else that knows that comes, they're like, if literally it's coming off the grill 30 seconds, they'll be like, I can't. And they walk away and they go.
They'll walk away.
And
I'll be like, hey, she's just rolling one right now. It'll be done, and that'll be ready to go in another 30 seconds. They won't even say anything.
Created
They'll walk
a monster.
Away. They'll just walk off. I've had people just walk off and be
we've created this sense of nobody has to wait around, instant gratification. Here you go. And so that's kind of been our bad. So now we have to switch our mentality and be like, it's okay. They know they're gonna have to wait.
But then on the flip side, we do have a lot of people too, though, that walk up. Lately, it's gotten crazy, and especially in that 9 o'clock hour. And but
they're waiting 40 minutes.
Yeah,
for
they're
a burrito.
waiting 40 minutes, and they're coming up to the window. And we're like, hey, I'm sorry, it's going to be this long. We've been slammed. We haven't been able to keep up. And there's other people that are really good about it.
Okay, I'll come back.
But we have gotten used to being able to just boom, have it ready, and so. I was talking to April about it the other day. We're going to have to just just slow down.
Talk
and
ourselves in the morning.
if we have to pep talk every single day and just be like, hey, we're okay. It's just 3 of us. We do what we can. We have a sense of urgency, and we're just not going to compromise. We're not going to put sloppy food together, and it's okay. And if people can't wait, then they can't wait. But that's not our problem.
Because, like you said, there's such stresses, and in any job, it's all relative of what those stresses are. But being in that, it's like
our stresses are like nothing compared to
like you're dealing with totally, completely opposite ends of it. But so it makes ours seem like really, what are you stressing
you have
about?
like real life and death stresses.
Yeah, ours is like
we're like we
made up stresses that we put on ourselves.
No, not at all.
But it is so high. That's why I'm saying so up and down. Like that's why your emotions and your mental, like you're like, I don't even know where I am supposed to be normal because I'm up and down everywhere.
Yeah. And that right there, what you said, takes it back to why I wanted to talk to you guys about, how does this gym and how does this yoga studio work and what's all really going on over there? Because I feel like part of that is having that in your life helps you deal with that up and down a lot better. And that's what we're trying to get to, where we're not so emotionally up and down and physically up and down. And
where we're more even.
Yeah, more normalcy.
It does. And there'll be times where we'll be over there and Crystal knows this and my wife knows this. I don't talk about me and my feelings at all. It just, I don't know. It's not a man thing. It's just a me thing. I don't care. I mean, I can deal with this shit on my own, right?
Right.
But there'll be times where I'll come in and I'm struggling. Whatever it is, I'm struggling, and I won't say anything to anybody, but the gym will come up and be like, hey, dude, you doing good? And then you can just tell when you're lifting weights and when you're doing this workout that something's just not jiving, and somebody will come up, and usually it's Crystal, and she'll be like, hey, what's going on, man? I'm like, nothing. Bullshit. You tell me what's going on right now. I'm like, okay, well, here it is. And then we're spending 20 minutes solving my life problem, and then, oh crap, we got to work out, So I mean, it's just not the gym. It's that community. It's that friendship. It's that, there's not a problem that we can't deal with together in this group. We're all right now is baseball and softball, because all of our kids are, most of us are coaching on top of it. We all got kids in there. So half of the conversations now are dealing with baseball and softball and the problems that are coming with that. And so it's such a fun dynamic all the time in there. But like for a guy that doesn't talk about his feelings and that emotional side of thing, to have somebody that can just recognize it just by the way you're working out, that you've been in this group that long, that somebody can figure that out. It's kind of cool, kind of a cool place. And I don't want to say safe place, but it's that safe place where, there's no judgment. There's no preconceived notions of anybody. And
it's almost like having a daily, like a workplace routine, or a group of people that you go to work with, but there aren't that expectations of the workplace.
Yeah, totally.
We're not here going to work. I mean, we're all here working, but we're not. Yeah.
But there is, because
you see what I'm getting at there.
Yeah.
That was lame, but.
And you go throughout your day too, because with all of us, of all the areas of being a parent, being a friend, being in work, that we all have to make it seem like we're okay. We got all of this, we're handled, and not show any of that. Like, I'm not okay right here.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think about the times, like my hardest times in my life, that was already set. Like, we are having a lot of conversation about habit, like what we do consistently, how we create it, whether we choose to do that intentionally or unintentionally. And bad things happen. You can't avoid it. And it's about what you have set up for yourself in those times that you're going to lead yourself through the hard. And so if you're already doing things for yourself that is going to support you during your hardest experiences in life, you're going to get out a lot quicker and cleaner, a lot less scathed. So it's not about going and doing it in the bad. It's about going and doing it in the good for the bad.
Yeah. Yep, that's very true.
I have cried. I have puked because my emotions were in my stomach. Not because of the workout. I have bawled through workouts, but knowing that's exactly where I needed to be. And there's no way in hell I would have been there if I hadn't already been doing it.
Yeah, to have that built into you, that this is what I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes...
Just to have that outlet and to have that, release that energy somewhere to go, so you do get out of it.
Right, and like even I'm talking about like my husband and I working out together, and like Cole and I are good for this with each other, like letting your anger out appropriately. Like just Thursday, I'm like, don't piss me off. You know, and like, he's like, okay, you know, like, let's go do yoga. We're all like, and like my husband and I might be in a riff, and we'll yell at each other and then work out. And by the end, it's all done.
Yeah.
It's all said and done. And just a really appropriate outlet instead of harboring that and utilize, you know, using that in a different direction where it's like, that's not healthy.
No. And that's funny that same way, like on Thursday, my wife went to the gym with me and she did her thing, I did my thing. But prior to that, we had an argument on the way to the gym about something. And I'm like, don't even talk to me. I'm just going to go work out. I don't want to do it. I don't even want to look at you when I'm at the gym. And she's like, well, you know, we just had this argument. And by the end of her workout, by the end of my workout, everything was fine.
Yeah.
You know, and we were just like, I'm sorry. I had some anger. I had to get it out. I'm good to go, you know. What were we talking about before we got yelling at each other before the gym, you know? So
how important was it really?
Right, you know, so.
Wow. Well, we work together. We have to.
Yeah.
We don't work out together, but in a way, it's like a workout.
We work together.
That's a big deal.
Getting up at 10:30 at night, working together, up when 2 hours of sleep, and
living together, working together.
Yeah.
And then we'll be less than a foot away from each other while she is cooking 40 pounds of eggs and I'm pressing potatoes through a potato cutter. And then.
And then anymore, it's live streamed on TikTok.
Yeah,
so it's like
live stream.
Not just you two in these close proximities for 24 hours a day. Now you've got the TikTok
now we got the
audience.
whole world on us. So yeah, you could see a little. Maybe we need an outlet.
There may be a few of those where I show up like at 2 a.m. and we have these deep conversations while they're cooking sausage and rolling burritos.
Like, what's the meaning of life? What are we all doing here?
Right. I know. I feel bad. In this transition from nights to days, like we've noticed too, it's like been hard to do that, to do your job, but also do those live streams and stay up and be that positive message or experience that we were trying to provide early in the morning for people. It's really hard.
We
You're
weren't
tired.
feeling positive, and
you're not.
you know, and that's really hard to fake positivity when you're not feeling it. And so,
Right.
I mean, you can do only so much, you know, but it does come off like they're not feeling it, you know, there's something wrong.
Yeah. And we've only missed a couple live streams where we just didn't turn it on because we just couldn't turn it on, you know, but
out of all of that and to miss only like a couple, I think we've done really well. Really, really well.
So are you going to continue that with the lunches?
We are.
Yes. Are you? Yep.
Yeah. We're going to, and honestly, we have people that have been watching us make burritos over and over and over. And we have some people that are like, we have a lot of people that are just every single morning.
They're invested in us. Like,
and it's been, I don't know what their schedule is.
I don't either, because I'm like, I'm exhausted. When are you guys sleeping? Because
they're on a live stream with us. Like if we go for 8 hours,
they're there for 8 hours.
They're there for 8 hours, or they'll be like, "Hey, I had to drop my kid off at school. What'd I miss?" And they're back. You know.
Yeah.
And
or we have one. He is from somewhere in the Midwest, and he's an electrician, but also the super techie guy.
Yeah.
And he gets on. Adrian is his name, and he gets on and he watches. And he'll get off and go to work go and does his work. But yeah, and he's one of our subscribers. So he subscribes to us.
Yeah. He's, yeah.
But all these different lives and these different places where these people are coming from.
My point was even, I think it was Adrian. He's like, hey, I love watching I love watching you guys make breakfast burritos every day. But he's like, secretly, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what else you guys can do.
Yeah.
And so, that we're going to do we'll do live streams. I'm going to try to set the cameras up a little bit differently because they've been just on the line of making burritos, and I'm going to try to set it up to where there's a camera on the grill and then there's one over there. We'll run a split screen, and So you can watch us making stuff, but you can see what's going on at the grill. That might be interesting for people. But and then I think we're also trying to figure out how we can do a live stream for just we have some TikTok subscribers, and you can do a subscriber only live, so they're the only ones in there. You don't have to deal with any weirdos or people that are just throwing out negativity.
And we'd usually do those from home. So we'd like cook meals at home. It would just be us for our subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're trying to.
But we're thinking about plugging them in while we're prepping. We can talk to them while we're prepping, while we're getting some stuff ready. We'll do a daily live stream then, but then we'll go live at 11 o'clock through lunch. And I actually have these little LED digital signs. I just lost one because it got wet or something. But I was going to I want to set another one up out there so that people, when they're there, after they've ordered, if they're hanging out, they can, hey, boom, scan this QR code and it'll take you right to our live stream. Or, and you can watch what's going on in the kitchen.
Yeah. See, that's something that could be fun. You're sitting there waiting for your food, and you got to wait that 20 minutes anyway, or 10 minutes, or 5 minutes even. But, I can hit this QR code and kind of see what's going on behind the scenes.
Somebody making my sandwich?
Yeah. And I might be able to visit with the people that are actually cooking my food.
Making comments.
And kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so too. And that way when we're actually installing multiple printers now, so there'll be printers. So when an order goes in, there's printers going off in the middle of the trailer and at my end of the trailer. So we'll have our own tickets that we can be going off of. So anyway, but then when we have the names put in on the tickets, also people are going to be watching. I mean, they're going to hear us saying John's ticket is done. John, whatever. Like it's heading toward the window. They could actually be moving toward the window because they watched it be prepared. We're mentioning what tickets. Anyway, so there's all kinds of possibilities with that.
So we're mainstreaming a lot of things and setting things up a lot differently.
Are you going to do the 3 days a week still, or are you going to to start with?
Yep.
Yep. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, and that may evolve. We're not quite sure. We use the world's gotten a little weird, and
you don't say.
Yeah. That's what we always just go back to.
I know I always say that.
Weird.
It's gotten a little weird. So now there's kind of like we have found there's like a balance. One of the interesting things about what we do is this is the only thing we have. This isn't. We don't have like a little side thing or a hobby thing. So we have to do it as well and efficient as possible. We don't have a lot of people that work for us, so it's finding a balance of like. I wish we could be open 7 days a week. I wish we could do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But the realities are we don't have the people for that. And the labor situation has gotten weird all over the place anyway.
And
there's challenges just being in this little town, but all over the place, every industry is having problems with labor. So we've just decided, okay, we're going to do what we can do. And then how do we balance also burnout, how many hours, because we do a lot of other things also. People only see what we do in the kitchen, but we're also we have a sauce side of the business that we're trying to get that going, and content and all the other stuff and all the other work we do. So it's kind of like, okay, there's a balance of if we're open more days, how many times are people in this small community going to eat with us? It's like they're going to eat with us, once. You're going to have some. We have some that eat there every day.
But majority of people eat once a week. Once a week.
So we try to be open. There's a balance of if you're open more days, then there's a lot of standing around time.
Right.
You're going to feed the same number of people either in 4 or 5 days or 3 days. So that's what we found out with the breakfast burritos and especially people are getting more selective about where you're going to go eat because it's just more expensive to go eat. It's just expensive. It's expensive for all of us. The food is more expensive. But you know what? Our power bills are more expensive. At work, at home, our gas at work, our gas at home, the propane there. I mean, everything is more expensive. So we get that things are more expensive. People are going to be more selective about how often they go out to eat. And so which is why we're also like, okay, well, then let's provide the best experience that we can provide. So when they want to splurge, that we're part of their splurge that week, or whatever it is. So anyway, we're going to serve less people, but we're also we're going to serve the max amount of people that hopefully we can. Do you see what I'm trying to get out here about finding that balance?
And it's going to be the quality, and it's going to be by us. We don't have to, make sure nobody cares about the food you put out more than you do. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I guess that's just it.
And not to go on a big old spiel about what we do or our lunches or anything, and one thing we do recognize though is like us doing it, we can make the call when I'm like that. I don't want to serve that. Let's toss that.
Yeah,
it's way easier being us that we own it, we run it, like to make that decision versus we're not just trying to dog on, say there's no good employees, but what employees have is sometimes it's harder for an employee to say, well, I'm going to throw this away, unless you have to have a lot of trust between your employees and management to be able to have your employees be able to say, hey, I'm tossing this, and have somebody's not going to get all over your back saying, why are you wasting that? Like, that was totally fine. And if we screw up with a customer, like,
I can be like, hey, it's on me.
I can fix it real
whatever.
quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas an employee it's going to be like, I have limitations. If I just give you a bunch of free food, I don't want to be blamed that I was just hooking up my friend and stealing from you or something. Yeah. So anyway, we do realize that those are the challenges that employees face.
So I have a thing I want to say. So we're starting lunch on Wednesday, this Wednesday.
This quick. So that was a quick transition.
It is. It's scary.
Well, yeah. So we didn't see, as in fashion of what we do, we just go hard, and then we don't even take a week in between to like get set up for the next week. We're going to just like roll right into it. So this will probably come out after we start lunch. So let them know the special, what we're running.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about it then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, not that it's some big secret, but this is what we've been working on. We just haven't put it out there just because we're like, what if something changes? We don't want to lock it. We have a fear of commitment.
Right.
But first week, we're going to do queso birria tacos, and they're really super good. We've been already in the trailer making them, playing with this. Just meaty, cheesy.
The beef consomme.
I'm really ready for some food so easy.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I know. I wish I could hand my phone around right now and show you pictures that I was taking. I haven't even color graded these. They look great because there's just a little bit of that onion and cilantro in there. And so we're doing those. April makes, and when, we cook that beef, and April has a whole bunch of peppers that we cook everything all in with, and then we take that beef out of there and then just blend up all those peppers
and spices. I mean, there's cinnamon and clove. There's just tons of
into
spices
that dipping consomme, and it's coming out really, really good. We're also going to do some chorizo street tacos, but they're BFL obviously version street tacos. It's that chorizo that we use out of Kalispell. It is really good stuff, good chunky stuff, but we're going to do the chorizo with actually we're going to do it with our chipotle
sauce.
BFL sauce. It's that smoky, a little bit of sweet, but we're going to drizzle that on that with the onions and cilantro. On the side, we're doing these corn ribs. They're called corn ribs. What it is it's a corn cob that is
quartered,
kind of like quartered in lengthwise, so that, and they're battered, and we deep fry them. And then on the top of those, April made a sauce.
I did like Mexican
it's a creamy,
elote, like the cream sauce of lime, and I have smoked paprika and a bunch of mayo, sour cream, and so you drizzle that on there with some cilantro and baste it in butter. So it's like a elote, but our little spin on it, a little different.
That'll be a side with the tacos.
Yeah.
And then we're also doing a chicken. What we are going to play with is having some burritos already rolled for those people that are in a hurry, and you don't have 30 minutes to wait. We'll be like, hey, here's a big hearty not breakfast, but a hearty burrito. We're going to do these grilled chicken burritos with kind of a, what are we calling it?
Spanish lime rice.
With
beans.
Monterey Jack cheese. It's going to be a healthy amount of cheese in there with the rice, the black beans, and a chunky grilled chicken in there, and some salsa verde in there, and then those will be either ready to go or something like that. So that's what we're doing. We're just keeping the menu small, but it was Cinco de Mayo that's coming up. So we were like, okay,
so
Cinco de Mayo.
Kind of a little soft opening too.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to start off with, and then, like I say, we'll I went on this big old tangent just because you asked what the hours and days were. But it's like, we have so many unknowns of what we're getting into again that because there's a lot of places that are just struggling. Food places are also struggling. So you're like, okay, how much of that is just the economy? How much of that is what they're offering? You know, like what's going on? I don't know. So we got to feel that out. So, yeah.
Exciting. Super exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It does. And then we've talked before, like food can be that adventure that we don't always get to go on. You know, like we were talking when I came back from Nepal that, you know, just different spices and cooking something in different ways. And then once you get to eat it, it's like taking you there without having to go. And that, I think that's something that people miss out on. You know, we're in such a hurry all the time. I want to go through, and I'm not dogging on any fast foods or anything like that, but we run through the drive-thru, we grab our food, we scarf it down, and we go about our day. But man, if you can just find those places, and I think that's where the food truck industry has really like improved food quality, where we can go to these food trucks, you know, wherever we are. I mean, they're everywhere now, right?
Yeah.
And we're not just eating food for the sake of eating food. We're eating food now, and we can have an adventure. We can have an experience. We can have an emotion with it. And so that whole thing, Cinco de Mayo with these new tacos that you guys are coming out with, it's just super exciting. I mean,
well, and it's American culture too, because a lot of other cultures and countries don't take food like we do.
Right.
They don't eat on the go.
Nope.
They don't. It's like they sit down, they eat, they enjoy their meals. So our society and culture has created this fast food industry of that. And I think in the recent years, we have and we haven't, but people have been becoming more intentional and realizing some of those things. And that's where I think, you know, people are starting to experiment more with food and branch out. But yeah, America itself is a terrible eating culture.
Yes, we are.
Terrible eating culture.
And one thing about the, like you say, the experience too, we've kind of missed out on just doing the breakfast burritos is, like we've gone ahead, we bought more tables, we've bought lots of umbrellas. We're going to have more places for people to sit and hang out, which we haven't been able to do that in the past. So we're kind of trying to make investments in our little lot there so it's not, I think in a way we've kind of taken it for granted that, we're just open at night basically and whatever.
We haven't really had to do much other than that because people aren't sitting around milling, eating a burrito.
No, they come and they go. But we're actually kind of fixing things up to be like, hey, this is going to be a cool little experience here. Tables, umbrellas all over the place, different colored umbrellas, bright colors, good sound outside. We have sound going inside. I just bought a thing to, actually I'm going to install, hopefully it's going to sound all how I want it to, but it's going to be right underneath the trailer. And but it's going to be putting sound out so that when you pull up and you get out of your car, you hear it, you saw this place that, oh, look at all these bright, it's just something's going on here, you know, like all these people are milling around. But same thing, I go to places and I'm like, everybody's standing around, it's dead quiet out here, it's kind of weird. But if you, just a simple thing like that, just music is just such a simple thing that people, I feel, overlook about how they, I don't know. But so we're going to make sure we aren't overlooking those things, and that when you get out of your car, you already feel something at this place. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. So
look forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you guys.
And the gym is like a block away.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So not only are we going to be working out at noon, we're going to be smelling your food the entire time.
Yeah.
That's all a plan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 So.
But honestly, too, I think there's going to be some healthier options there too. Like,
Ooh, yes.
I mean,
we have a list. I have a list we have created of just different ideas and food options and stuff. So
yeah, we have big plans about all that. About we're never going to let the menu get real huge and like hard to manage and hard to whatever. We're going to keep things pretty small. We're going to have some things that just stay on there that are regular. Everybody can always count on that. That's on there. But then we're going to do what we've kind of done. And we did this years ago with lunch. We bring in a special. We run it for 2 weeks, and it can be it can be anything from. Yeah, we're going to be all over the place.
Po' boy to some Indian butter chicken with some basmati rice. So you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll keep it real approachable.
Yeah.
Should be a fun chapter.
I think it's going to be,
in the book that's Big Fat Lunchbox.
Yeah.
Excited,
we're excited
nervous.
about it.
It's nervous, nervous, but excited. So excited.
Yeah, but we don't grow from staying in our comfort zone either.
Very true.
True.
We get stagnant, we get bored, we get cranky. So getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
You are 100% right. And doing breakfast burritos, I mean, hundreds of breakfast burritos every morning, like you can get into a rut. We were trying to get better with, even get more fancy with our specials, and that's been fun.
And
There's been some challenges, and that does make it fun to be like, hey, like,
what else can we do with a burrito?
A pork belly eggs Benedict breakfast burrito. Who's doing that?
Or a waffle with chicken and huckleberry syrup and.
So chicken fried steak, that went over really well.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. So we've definitely branched ourselves out with that, but then at the end, it's still, a breakfast burrito and.
Yeah.
At the end, it's still your quality of life.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Very, very true. None of it's worth anything if we're all like not taking care of ourselves and feeling so beat up
that you can't even enjoy, life. I've read this thing, everyone talks about being in balance. You just have to have everything in balance. And I've always been like wanting things in balance. I'm always finding it hard balancing everything. But I've seen somebody where they've created it's not so much as balance as in harmony. Having the things that you have harmonize with what else you have going on. So there might not be balance, but it's working in harmony together. And I was like, I'd never heard of or never approached it like that before. And I thought, this was just like a couple of days ago I read this. I thought,
what are your
so
thoughts?
much sense.
What are your thoughts on that, Crystal? We'll go to you on that. What are your thoughts on that statement of hers?
Well, so I immediately went to some brain stuff I've been reading on, and I love Daniel Siegel's books, but it's all about brain development. And he talks about when things are integrated, so when it's integrated into us, and so when something's integrated into a system, it goes well. It's not sitting out here, it's not breaking things or disrupting the system. You get harmony. So everything has to be in an integrative flow. And I think that people think balance means like percentage-wise, like 50% of my life is here and 50% of my life is here, where our energy is always moving differently. And like we talked about while you were gone, like just because you picked it up doesn't mean you can't put it down. And you can put it down and your energy changes, and that means you're supposed to create something different to come into harmony. And you get burnout when you lose boundaries, you lose your passion, and you just do it anyway because you think something outside of yourself is relying on you more. Well, really, you don't even know because you don't try what makes you excited. Because I feel like you guys are going to realize that nothing changes in how you make people feel and people's appreciation of your food just because you went to lunch. Like, you're just going to appease a different genre of people, a group of people.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a different audience. But they're going to be super happy you're there. They didn't get you before. Cole didn't get you before. Unless you got out of bed to go get a burrito.
And I called to make a hair appointment, and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys are doing lunch. I am so excited about this, so it is. And so just as many people that are appreciative for this, we're going to have just as many people appreciative for lunch. But it's always hard doing that changeover and doing that switch. We've done it before, so you'd think we'd be good at it. But.
Well, remember, energy does not get created nor destroyed, just transformed. Yeah. So you're just transforming it.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Huh. Well, we're excited for it.
Yeah.
Lots of things to do. Lots of things. We had to buy lots of stuff. It's crazy.
We did have to buy lots
Sometimes
of stuff.
buying stuff is fun.
It is kind of fun. We're like, oh, look at all this restaurant equipment we haven't gotten to use in a long time. Like, we need new this and new this.
I know. And then just thinking back, I was like, oh, I need a zester and I need a, all those things that we haven't used in there in so long. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need this new grill.
And you go at my house. And it's funny because Gage at home, he's putting dishes away. And I have so many tools and gadgets. We have so many different things. He goes, there's nobody that has all this fancy stuff. I don't even know what it does for anything. And you have all these things.
He's so worldly. Like he knows what average people have.
Yeah. And I was like, so other people don't have this? No. You guys are the only ones that have all this stuff in here.
Which that's not true. Everybody has little gadgets in their kitchen. But he makes it sound like we're weirdos.
Yeah. Such weirdos.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
We're all weirdos to our adolescence. It'll be all right.
Yeah, and then hopefully in like 10 years, we're like the most awesome people ever to them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That happens. I have a 22-year-old that I didn't think would happen. And yeah, we're super close.
Yeah, I knew it would happen.
I did not.
I did.
I was like, oh, now she calls me every day and sends me little gifts just because and posts little memes. Look at you saying you're not going to be my best friend. Look at us now, best friend.
I've got some time to wait for that one, but I'm sure it'll happen.
It'll come.
It'll happen. Now it's the conversations about where am I going to college, and I'm like, holy shit, we're at that conversation level now. So
yeah, comes quick on you.
Oh man, it does. So I don't know if I'm ready for my first one to leave.
I don't think anybody's ever ready for that, really.
Know?
But if they're ready to leave, that means you've done your job.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure I'm sure you were that same way when they turned 18 and started taking off. It's like, man, did I do enough? Did I give them the tools necessary and the knowledge necessary to like start navigating?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. But also it was, I don't know, it was just kind of realizing that this, even though it's a change in chapter, it's kind of like it doesn't stop. Like you don't stop. They're going to call, like what I didn't leave them with, they're going to call me tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, I don't know. So yeah, it was kind of weird having my first one leave and he went off to college and it was kind of a different situation. And, because he went to a place that was strict and whatever, and so it wasn't like we had access all the time. But yeah, I have found too that I don't know, like now we just experience things in a different way together, and
it's so it's
I'm like, hey, this
fun.
Isn't the end. If you didn't make it to all of these things, or if you're not a bad parent if you didn't, in your mind you felt like you had to be there in this way or this way or this way, and it's not. You need to. What's more important is the conversations that you have with your kids, that time that you spend with them. Like that to me is I'm always April's. We've had a really bad schedule for raising kids, so for her that challenge has been like, hey, I'm missing this or I'm missing this, and I'm sensitive to that too because I was very close with my kids, and I was raised in a strong family, and I wanted to have a strong family and be there for my kids, so I don't value that any less. But I'm always more or less trying to say, hey, like, this isn't the end. Just because you weren't at this or this isn't the end. Like it just keeps going, and have those conversations with them, and they're gonna realize. Not so much right now. You're going to help them realize a little bit. You're going to help them keep perspective about what's going on in your life. But as they get older, they're going to really realize what you were going through for them. Mm-hmm. And
that's when it hits.
They're really going to have an appreciation for you. And it's just, we always think we're failures as parents, and that I didn't get this, or I didn't do this, or I said this wrong, or I yelled at them about this. I'm like, you just keep going. And now, yeah, same thing. And I have relationships with my kids that I didn't think I would have in some ways, and in some ways I knew I would have. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. And now we play video games with each other.
Now we're on Red Dead Redemption, all of us. Texas, Washington, Utah, Korea, all of us.
And it's weird
headsets, and we're all playing.
Yeah, like that's weird that I just never saw that coming years ago. I didn't have time for any of that. And I was like, hey, I just have to work. And I don't have time for that. Anyway.
That's the greatest game.
It's interesting.
It
that is the greatest game.
Who would have thought?
I saw I think it was on my computer maybe. I don't know. I had a notification pop up. we have maybe it was Gage. I don't know. Somebody put out something like, "Hey, who's getting on today?" or something. So we have like a text group.
It's the name of our group, of our Buttery Bastards. Is what it's called.
That's our posse, the Buttery Bastards.
And so we have this group chat with all of us, all 17 of us. It feels like.
Yeah, but it's now everybody's gotten on there, and now we're all in headsets and we're talking to each other on the weekends. And not too long ago, we weren't doing that. And like, it's.
We weren't checking in with each other.
We weren't checking in with each other as often, but now through that kind of a thing, we stay close. We'll
be 4 hours, and we've all sat and talked for 4 hours together.
Yeah.
Longer. A lot of times longer.
Last night I was on. I couldn't believe how late I was on there. I was on there with Andre in Korea, and Connor was in Utah, and Alex's husband Andy is over in Washington, and it was weird for me because 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon came around, and I would be normally looking at the clock, stressing about it. I'd be like, oh man, it's getting late. I gotta start thinking. It's Saturday,
and your
but
body doesn't want to shut down.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's weird. I looked at that time and I thought, oh, it's all right. Like,
we're okay.
We're doing lunch next week. It was really weird.
That's why I thought laying in bed the other day. I was like, that was our last get up at 10:30. Well, not really, because we are going to do burritos once a month. But I was laying there and I'm like, I don't have to get up at 10:30 next week, tomorrow.
I know, it's been weird.
Or the next day.
It's still sinking in.
I was kind of like one of those realizations. I was like, I don't have to get up at 10:30.
So last night it was like me, April, and Connor, and Andre, and Andy, and we're all on there on our headsets running around together last night for hours until April was fading and
I was like,
and whatever. And then but I thought about that. I'm like, it's interesting. Like, we are now in this little world where we're kind of equals now in this. Like, I'm these guys, their dad, but these guys are old. Like, Andre's like 30 now.
Yeah.
You know? That's wild. Remember that? Like, Andre was...
I remember.
Gosh. And Connor, he's like, what is he now? 24?
20...
He just turned...
Alex is 27.
Yeah, he turned 24 the other
24,
day.
24, yeah.
And anyway, so they're all out there, and they're in different stages of life, and they're all doing whatever, and they call, and you're still like their dad or whatever. But we get on there and we do this together, and we're all in this little world where we're all kind of equals, and but we work through things together, and we are there for each other. Or Andre and Connor are, we're in our little camp, and we're like, they're running around lassoing each other, and that's not
and
April
wrestling.
and I. They're wrestling and
we're like,
and
okay, guys, we got to collect herbs and
we're like, hey
stuff.
guys, look, I got a moonshine run that has to be done. Is anybody ready to do moonshine? Anyway,
right.
But
so
it's funny, their
roles.
personalities come out in there, and they're like, when would Connor and Andre be doing this? Like, and I know it's all in this little thing on this TV, but
we're all still interacting with each other, which we never would have. Being in separate parts, unless we were to all meet up together and do that. We wouldn't have this on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So it's been very interesting.
So anyway, your kids grow up, and then
you play video games.
You play video games with each other on headsets.
I can be down with that. I'm happy with that.
It's fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah.
And all of them do. The only one we haven't is Allie. She's the only one.
Her boyfriend, Zach gets on there.
with us.
He's just a part of the family.
Yeah.
And he gets on there with us on the weekends, and he's a funny
dude. He went
dude.
and bought
I'm like,
an Xbox and stuff just because of us.
He came over Christmas and was like, what are you guys doing? We're like, yeah, dude, we play Far Cry together. And then he went home and he was like, I got to buy an Xbox. That was kind of fun. We got him playing Far Cry. And then we were like, dude, we're on to something new. We're playing Red Dead Redemption.
You got to get on it.
We need to get this. And so he's been trying to work on Allie. And then we all met in Denver recently, and we were all talking about it. And Alex was like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, yeah, we all text each other, and we have a posse. And she's like, now I got to get an Xbox. Like, I want to do this. And I want to, like, she's not run around shooting game type person, but she's feeling left out of the family because all of the rest of us are on there. And so she went and got an Xbox, and she's like, I got to get another Xbox because I want Andy on there with me too. And so he's not been Mr. Video Game guy, but now so he's on there.
It's like a little family thing we do.
We all kind of check in with each other. And one time, it was just a couple months ago, I was on there, and it was me, you, and I think Zach, or maybe it was or something was on there. Zach is Allie's boyfriend down in Texas. And then all of a sudden, because when somebody signs in, they're just like, ding, you get a notification up on the TV, and it's like so-and-so's online. And then they can see that all their friends are on there, and so they just can join our session. They can join our party in our headsets. All of a sudden, they don't even have to be playing the game.
Gage will be like, hey.
Hey, just pops in there. Sometimes he just sets his headset down, and we get to hear like
what? Yeah, if he's at his dad's house or whatever.
We're like, dude,
unplug.
So, anyway, it was just kind of funny because I was like, I'm playing, and like Zach pops in there, and he pops in there, and all of a sudden I realize, I'm like, hey, Zach, have you ever met Andre? And he's like, no, I haven't. I'm like, oh, Zach, this is Andre. It's my son in Korea. He's like, hey, Andre. He's like, hey, how you doing, Zach? And all of a sudden we're like, okay, guys, well, let's go do some bounties. You guys want to?
And now they know that they've known each other.
They're in there. Now they've never seen each other in real life, but but by the time Andre comes home,
he's gonna.
They've already been in the foxhole together. They've gone and recovered bounties and dangerous people together and had to back each other up.
And all the griefers.
Oh.
I haven't done much of the online stuff.
Oh, we're going to talk
like
you into it.
Yeah, it's good. You got to get on there. The griefers are a bummer.
Griefers.
I've never been pulled off my horse and stabbed so many times. Everybody pulls me off my horse and kills me.
Oh, so they're like, I guess
they're just other online players that are just jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just.
So we kind of get in there and mind our own business, but then there's people that are just jerks, and that's what's interesting is like it makes you really kind of realize. I get all psychological about all this stuff. I look at all this, I'm like, what is going
it's
on
just
in
real
that
life.
dude's life? Like, what is so out of control in this guy's life that he comes home, or whoever he is, whatever he is. I make up the stories for who these people are, right? And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy that he saw April, her little female character, go riding by, and he had to lasso her, pull her off of there, and then just start stabbing her to death in this game?
Like, what is going on in your world?
What was that? Was that necessary, dude? And now, like, I'm literally physically like angry. I am on my way, and I am like, some dude just pulled my wife off a horse. I'm having a physical reaction to this. My heart is pumping. And I'm there trying to headshot this guy, and then our goal is I'm gonna take this guy out so many times he quits the game.
Yeah, he switches sessions. That's our goal. Now.
And then sometimes we get in there and we're like, wait, what is this guy ranked?
Level? 400?
What level is he?
Oh, we're out.
We're like, this guy's a 453. We're like, that means he's been playing the game a long time. And I'm like, oh, we need to go. We got to change sessions. We're not gonna be.
We're not.
I don't know
him.
what he's bored. That's what his problem is. He's been playing this for so long. He's bored. And anyway, it's so fascinating, the psychology behind all these other people in this little made-up world that you're on there with, and you're like,
and how they act. And then some people mind their manners, and they'll come up to you and they do the international wave. I'm not going to shoot you. Some people will wave, and then you turn your back and they shoot you in the back. So I mean,
but
you never know.
I always look at about society now, and I'm like, this is so interesting because everything that goes on in this world where there's really no consequences, if society were to break down, it would be just like this out there. Yeah. We would have people that for no reason are just going to jump you and take your stuff. Like, they were normal people a week ago before society crumbled, okay? But they were held in check by the fact that somebody could dial 911 and somebody shows up and there's consequences. But in a world where there's not somebody to come, and society breaks down and we have complete civil unrest and there's like highway gangs and if we get really into like, it's like the Book of Eli. I mean, you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I really feel like the way those movies portray the breakdown in society is very accurate now that I see how people act in a world where there's no consequences.
And then you have the people that follow rules. They're like, just gonna be good. Like me, I'm not going and messing with people just to mess with them. I'm going about my wave and be like, hey, I'm good. We good.
They'll just go mess with people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's our.
Anyways, you should get online.
We'll make you an honorary member of the Buttery Bastards. Crystal, think about it.
Yeah.
No. I know there's video games going on at your house.
I don't play that shit.
She's like, these people are wacko. I didn't even realize.
Not at all. I don't really watch TV. I don't play video games. I never have.
I played a lot of Zelda when I was a kid. And so that's where Crystal, have you seen the movie Ready Player One?
No, I don't really watch movies.
Okay.
Cole threatened to end our friendship because I'd never seen Man from Snowy River, so I've watched that.
Hey, that is really, actually, that's one worth losing a friendship over.
It is.
I mean, if you had to draw a line, that's a great movie to draw a line over. So
She watched it.
Did you?
She watched it.
Did you like it?
She's like, I was forced.
Yeah.
No, it was okay. Lonesome Dove's better. I've seen Lonesome Dove.
I haven't seen The Man from Snowy River in years and years and years. How has it aged? Does it hold up?
I think so. I mean, I still watch it a few times a year. But I watch Jeremiah Johnson like once a month too, and The Last Samurai once a month. So
my sister had a thing for The Man from Snowy River, so I probably watched it 75 times with her in high school. But I just don't know. Like, I haven't seen it in so long that you go back and you're like, this didn't hold up.
I don't know. I mean, what movie wouldn't hold up that's got horsemanship on a beautiful backdrop and I guess romance? I mean, isn't that kind of what tells the test of time as far as movies go?
I think
Got it all.
That probably has a better formula. I go back and I look at some of the comedies that you thought, well, oh, this was hilarious in the 80s, and then you go back and you watch it and you're like, this is so dumb. This does not hold up. Like, why did I think this was so good back then? But
at that time, it was good.
The reason I asked you about Ready Player One is because it's this movie about people that just live in their headsets. They go home, they have really crappy lives, but they go and live in this virtual world.
I've never seen this movie either, so don't feel bad.
And anyway, to me, what we're doing right now is just a glimpse of what it is going to be, and I can see how attractive that will be for people because you can create your online persona, and this is what they're doing with the metaverse. You won't have to go home and put on a headset. You're going to have little glasses that you'll be in the metaverse as you go through your day. It will put images up, but you can then represent who you are, make your own persona of who you are. You can make yourself look any way you want to look. But anyway, these people that are in their homes and they're I don't know, they have lived terrible lives but they live in this online world. And it's a Steven Spielberg movie, I believe. And I think there's another one coming out.
Is it really?
I've never seen it. So
You've never seen it? It's a good movie.
Yeah, but and am I explaining this correctly? But to me, I watch now that our family is interacting this way with each other. I look at that and I'm like, is this good? Is this bad? Right now it's like, oh, we're having a good time and we interact with each other. But at what point is this not good? Like, what point is it that, oh, we're now not going outside. It's sunny and beautiful outside, and we're all in our headsets.
We're not taking that family vacation to all meet up together because
there's not a sense of urgency about, hey, we all need to get together and do this because we're with each other almost every day or at least every weekend. Like, how does this start to affect our lives where we have less one-on-one interaction with people in society? Right now, it's just us and our kids. But at a certain point, it's now I see Cole online. Now I see so-and-so and whatever platform that it is.
So that physical connection that we get with people that make us feel grounded.
If you're a person who is self-conscious about your physical appearance, you can make whatever character you want online, and that's who you are. You live vicariously through that. That's what people see you as. They don't know who you are. So I'm looking at this like I see how this is attractive, and I see that this is where society is going. And these movies, the reason why I asked that is because that is to me, I see it now. Like, I'm like, okay, that was a fun movie a few years ago whenever it came out. But now it's like, oh, that's where we're going. We're going to be in there. And I always like to throw this at Trish, who works with us. I'm like, Trish, you're going to love it in the metaverse, huh? She's like, I'm never getting on there. I will never be in the metaverse. I'm like, you're going to love it, Trish. And she's like, I'll never do that. I'm like, you know what, Trish? I'll tell you why you are going to do it. Because your grandkids are going to be in there. And that's where that's where they are. So that's where you're going to want to be. And that's the problem. See, that's where in 2007, I wasn't on Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's where our kids are.
All of a sudden, that's where my kids were. And I got an account because I was like, well, my kids are on here. I better see what they're up to. And I wasn't really doing anything or posting anything. But then eventually, it's like, that's how we run our business. That's our lives are slowly taken over by this, and that we all got okay with this. And I'm like, okay, right now it's like we're on there because we get to meet with our kids. But at what point does this take over? And now, That's where your kids are. That's where your family. That's where your friends are. Anyway, I just that's why I wanted to ask you about that movie. If you'd seen that, it's because I want to get your take on some of this. So now you need to go watch that movie, and then we have to have a follow-up about what do you think about where society is going. And
get your in-depth perception of this.
Is our relationship depending on it?
No, I'm not going to cut you off like Colwood over the man from Snowy River. Okay, but
we'll still be friends.
I'm a staple in his life. It's not that easy.
Right.
Snowy River 1 or 2?
1.
Okay.
1. I like 2. I do like the Return to Snowy River, but the original is I don't know. But it was like, so that was the music, the soundtrack to that is what my parents used to put me to sleep when I was a baby. And then I remember the first time.
What does that mean, Crystal? That he is so about this, and that's now we know where it comes from. He was as a baby. Well, no, not to get all Freudian. Anyway, go ahead.
But I just remember, and I remember watching it all the time growing up because we didn't have TV. We had an old, I think my parents had a Betamax when I was real little, and one of the movies that they had was Man from Snowy River, and so it was one of the ones that I could watch growing up a lot. But I just love that movie. I don't know, something about, like I said, the horsemanship. The Australia is beautiful. I mean, I can't wait to go visit Australia. But then just everything about it.
There's a lot of good messages in it all the way through it.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I just like the horses, but I grew up on a ranch too. So I mean, I was going to be drawn to that kind of movie anyway.
Yeah. Do your kids watch it?
Yep. My wife, she watched it once. It was like one of our first dates. I made dinner for her and made her watch the movie, and she fell asleep halfway through. So I've had to make her watch it like 5 times to get through the whole thing.
I think our similar thing is John Denver. Like I grew up listening to John Denver. My family did, and so my kids, they grew up listening to John Denver. They're all about John Denver. But then I got with April, and I'm like, hey, what are your thoughts on John Denver? And she was just like, I'm like, ooh.
I was like, I don't.
This is a part of my family culture.
I was like, I don't have anything bad.
Yeah.
So I love John Denver. We listen to John Denver.
Then we went on a camp out. This is the weirdest story. We were doing a camp out. I actually made the video of this camp out, and I was like, I'm going to take a bunch of video cameras. I'm going to do this. We went on this camp out, and April and I hadn't been together too long, but it's me and April and Gage and Bailey, and they're little now. When you look back in, I'm like, little. Holy cow! I feel like we just got together not that long ago, but I'm like, holy cow, these kids were little.
Yeah, they've grown.
And we're going on this camp out, and that's one thing my family did was they'd put on John Denver a lot when we'd go on a family camp out or something. I don't know, and we'd all be singing in the car, and not everybody back then was on their phone, You weren't, because we didn't have a phone. So we had John Denver, and you just sang along and looked out the window. And kids nowadays are like, what? I'm not doing that. Anyway, so this comes on. I've got a little GoPro, and John Denver's playing. It was just jamming, and I was just feeling it. And I'm recording, and I'm videoing myself, but I start to video the kids, and I look back there, and Gage is just singing right along, word for word, every word of this John Denver song. And I was just like, how do you know John Denver? Anyway, I was glad I caught that little moment. I put it in the video.
Yeah.
Of him singing word. I don't know where he got it from.
Nice.
Still don't know.
He's always listened to a lot of music. It's always little kid memorized songs very quickly.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've got to go to the bathroom.
All right. Hey, let's wrap up anyway. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I just know there's not a bathroom in here.
I know. I'm sorry. It does keep us humble. So
right, that's what she told me. It's keeping me humble. Yes. This is my energetic line. I gotta pee.
Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks for coming in here on a Sunday, you guys, and I'm excited to get over there and see your gym and your yoga studio a little bit more and see if I can implement some of that, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm in. All right, thanks.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
It was super fun, and we are always in the background cheerleading you, and however we can help support, recalibrate your life, get some harmony.
Hey, awesome.